Hi, first grade families. So I'm excited for this week. It looks like it's going to be a back to normal week. So I'm excited to do that. No more snow delays or anything. So that's good. So for this week, in our little boxes right here, you can find the weekly skills so that you know what we're learning. So on OG, we are still working on that silent E, and I try to put fluency practice matches that. So those little paper books that they'll bring home, they should be reading out loud to you because it's supporting what we're learning in OG. Has lots of silent E words. We're trying to get them more comfortable, automatic at going back and forth between short vowels and long vowels. I know you've seen that. And getting their brain used to reading those words. We spend all first semester doing short vowels, so it is a lot to really think about those words and to go back and forth in them. So we're still practicing on that. On Friday, though, we will start that soft G practice, how that G is followed by an E, I, or Y and can say that JIF sound. So we're going to be starting that. We still have our same handwriting math. We are still working on ones and tens, but we've been doing plus tens and minus tens in math facts. And so we're kind of showing that with our ones and tens, our manipulatives, how we do that, and still writing that expanded form, the number form, just playing a lot with numbers. We call that number sense. We want them to read the number word, to be able to show it, to understand that 23 has two tens and three ones and what that is, building that number sense. For our reading story, it kind of goes along with our science. It's learning from cows to you and how we get our milk from cows and what we can do with that milk. I have a few virtual field trips at dairy farms, and one of them, the first one that I can't remember if it's Monday or Tuesday, actually shows Kelsey's farm, dairy farm in Whiteland from a few years ago. So that's real interesting, and that's very close to us. And language, we're working on contractions, the not contraction, writing that apostrophe T. And then we're writing a lot with our learning about cows, and we always like to write about our weekend. So I really want you to click on these boxes, see what we're learning this week so you know where we're at in first grade and what's expected. That first graders should be fluently reading these words, and those paper stories, that shouldn't really be hard for the typical first grade reader, because it's all the skills that we've had up to now, plus working on that silent E. So let's take a look real fast at that fluency. That's why it's really important to look at these little paper stories that come home and to keep up on doing it every night rather than waiting till one night and do all of them, because each night it supports what we learn in OG. But a typical first grader should have no problem reading these stories, sounding fluently. So that's why doing our e-learning on Wednesday is important. Keeping up on what we're learning is important to help our first grader to be at grade level and be able to read these things. So just so you know what is expected in first grade. So come Wednesday, those assignments, try your best to get to them all so that you're not getting behind. Your first grader is with us, and we move on the next day on that Thursday. Feel free. Here's our virtual classroom library, and I always add whatever books we've worked on. So here's our little dog. Last week we were doing Ezra Jack Keats, so I left it in there. And you can have your first grader read from that library. So if on the evenings you want your first grader to do something, well, we've got that paper book, and on Wednesdays, here are ways that you can give your first grader extra instead of playing video games. You can do Zearn, which can take them into other grade levels. Once they complete all first grade skills, they move into second grade. You can do Lexia, same thing. We already have a lot of kids at the second grade level moving into third grade level. Lexia and Zearn are extra ways to support, to either help your child catch up if they need that, or to help enrich if you need that. You can also have your first grader read more books on our virtual library. That's a great way. We are still doing those little comprehension quizzes where we earn jewels on our hats at school, so they can come in the next day and do those. So there's a lot of things so that your first grader can keep on plugging away if you need something extra on your free time. If you have any questions, please let me know.